My word for the people is that it's our time to create the story that we want. You know, mostly
Yes.
Africa. We need to tell African story through art, and we live here. And
Yes.
what we read in the Western papers is totally different. So it's
Hmm.
our right, it's our ultimate right and time to to portray Africa the way we want it, not the way the other people want it.
If you're familiar with the education system in Africa, then you know how important it is for any student to score a grade A or B in their academics. Unfortunately, that leaves their talents behind. That athlete, that musician, that artist, that writer, all that beautiful stuff that they carry has to be shoved in the back burner. My name is Magdalene Kamau Otieno. In this program, Moola from True Love, we aim to find out, could we make any money? Can we make a living from our talents? Welcome on board.
I know there's the value in art, in collaborating. There is that form of collaboration. I've also noticed one thing about collaboration. If one person starts disagreeing, they become like a crab and they hold on to the next person and there's a disagreement. And I live in Mombasa where art is food. It is like our daily bread. And I've seen art grow to a certain level and then from nowhere, I'd want to say a rotten egg starts pulling down everybody else and the collaboration dies. And what was supposed to be income generating, it stops generating income, which is why I would say, as much as in the art industry, and coming back to you as a point, that the collaboration is so important, I do feel that the biggest problem that we have is that we don't work on ourselves individually. Like we're waiting for the
Yeah,
group work, but we're not working on I as a poet or I
yeah,
as the photographer. Like I'm not building the me first. Because you see, before you want to collaborate with me, you must have seen something good about me. For
yeah,
someone to come to you, for example, someone from Kenya to come and call you and say, like, Samie, I saw this, I've seen your photos, yes, but I've also seen your art, I mean your poems, and I would want to have a collaboration with you. That collabo does not happen unless you've worked on yourself.
you have to first of all build your brand.
Mm,
Who
mm,
before someone gets interested in working with you,
yeah,
first, who are you and what are you going to sell to the person? And
yeah.
if you guys are almost the same level, yeah, then you're good to go.
Which now leads me to asking you this question: Have you, as Samie, have you monetized? Have you started converting your poetry and your photography to money? Have you monetized it? It's your talent, yes. It is something that is really new, but is it still a hobby or is it something that you can say it pays my bills? I can take a trip to Thailand or to Malaysia, courtesy of my poetry, courtesy of my photography.
At the moment, I've monetized only photography because
Uh-huh.
uh,
Mhm.
people understand it,
Mm,
and
yeah.
some do value it, and even it's on demand.
Yes.
But then I haven't that much monetized my poetry.
Your poetry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
because
Why, Samie? Why?
uh, well, it's like at the moment the demand of it is still low, and even people having taste in it, and like as I've been telling you, someone's like, I need a poem. So like, yeah, I'm charging you, let's say $100, and it's like, man, that's a fortune. So like, yeah, it's my piece of work. If you can go and buy a
Mm,
paint, just a painting, you buy it at $200, $500. Why not
even more.
even more, depending on
Yeah.
the piece?
Mm.
So why can't you also buy my poem at this? At,
So
I
how
even
will you
said
create
some.
that value? I'm curious because okay, people are not buying because I believe they don't buy because they don't understand.
Yeah.
According to my earlier learning when I was in primary school, when I was much younger, before I turned many years, donkey years to go, a
Mm.
certain teacher once told me that if people don't understand what you're doing, create the demand. Like make them desire you. And
Yeah.
oh, sorry to use this analogy, but if this is the craziest analogy I'd ever come up with, but well, forgive me for this one. If a woman is hunting for, the evening women who hunt for men, when the demand is not there, what do? They pull the skirt a little bit up. So there are more curves being seen. So the question is, how much of your curves are you willing to expose in poetry to create the demand? Because to me, that's what's going on. Poetry is beautiful. And I believe anybody in the world will understand and or will appreciate poetry, especially African poetry, because we are so full of emotions. Yeah, we've seen it all. We are full of emotions. And we are beautiful people. We got one, not just the skin color, but our intonation is just crazy. We pronounce the words all the wrong ways, but it makes sense. No, the problem is we have not created the demand. We're not making ourselves appealing. So how is Samie going to make himself so appealing that even when you see on YouTube, it's that time when YouTube decides to be very generous and your poems are being thrown. Someone is searching one thing, but Samie's face comes and you go like, whoa, I need to listen to this guy. So how are you going to make yourself so appealing? Because you see, to me, if there's no demand, you got to create it. So how will you create your demand as a poet?
It's working harder, have a lot of content to give, and in a creative way also to give. I don't need to do poetry for entertaining, but I need to do poetry for transformation and teaching.
Yes.
I need to know what the message the world needs to listen to, and they really need this one at this moment. So without that same piece, and what am I trying to change through my work? Like there is a poem I wrote back in years. It's called "Ode to My Future Generations." That actually is the one I used last year in the competition. It calls out people to, I start questioning people, like, every year we always see it in the papers that this country, the political parties that have been fighting, they've signed ceasefire agreements, but still they do fight, and
crazy.
If you make a research about the sector that actually takes much fund of the country, military, and it goes to the military, So why is much of funds is invested in military weapons, those heavy weapons, instead of investing that money actually in building something that brings out peace? What do we need? If we are going to invest in education sector, and invest this in military weapons, these weapons, having that understanding that I have the heaviest weapons, will make you more violent. But if you don't have that, you're weak, and maybe your neighbor is also weak. You're not going to fight because you're not going to test, the superiority of your weapons. But if, like, for example, today the world is, locked down by the COVID-19. Take an example of Russia. If recently they say they got the vaccine. They get the vaccine, and then let's say a country in Africa like Rwanda or Kenya also is fighting the same fight, actually, which is not a military fight, but actually a research fight. That's I think that's what we need, So in my piece, I was kind of comparing the two, the bad side and the good side, and then in the end, I dream one day we want to have we will live in a peaceful world where everyone will enjoy the words of the earth, and the black and the white will live peacefully, and we will not have more hashtags like Black Lives Matter, we need peace, we need that, those hashtags. I have a dream that one day we won't have any of them again. As an artist, I need to give out the message that actually
Yeah.
the world needs, though they don't listen to it, but I know at some point they're going to listen to it.
True. True. I believe that the best person to pass this kind of a message is an artist, because you don't rush through your words. Unlike in music, where you've got to follow the beat, you've got to keep up with the beat. And I believe that the right person to pass this message would be someone like you. When you're in the right country. Don't even think Kenya. You are in the right country, and the world knows you're in the right country.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I would say in another 1 year, and thanks to COVID, now things have slowed down, that we can now work on ourselves instead of having to run after stuff. That in a year's time, there'll be something from Samie, and not one poem, not just one, not two, not three, but passing a message that makes sense.
We need to put poetry to another level also as poets. And yeah, I believe we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
Well, if you work on it. So I'm just curious, you as a natural person, you're naturally flowing in this area. What's your word for the people?
Well, my word for the people is that it's our time to create the story that we want.
Yes.
Mostly Africa. We need to tell African story through art, and we live here. And
Yes.
what we read in the Western papers is totally different. So it's
Mm-hmm.
our right, it's our ultimate right and time to to portray Africa the way we want it, not the way the other people want it, or the way like yes, we are not going to ignore that the some things that actually do in a wrong way, but then doesn't mean that that's the daily life. We also have the good parts of life, so we need also to make sure that the good part of our life actually gets the audience more than the bad part. And as we get to cover that, actually, I believe that that bad part can be covered, and actually not only to be covered, but can also be, removed completely. So it's the work of it's our work to portray, and actually we're not only changing also, but we can also live it, and also unliving through it. If we give it much time, and give it the real value it actually needs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my.
By all means, I believe that the only people who can pass the message is you people, is the artist, is the poet like you, is the photographer. You're the only one who can paint the picture of Africa the right way. You're the only one who know what color Africa is, and the taste of Africa. You're the only one who can do that. Everybody else will always portray that, that poor kid with the fly buzzing around showing how much we are poor, without realizing that in reality, Africa is very rich. And I look forward to seeing this. I'll stalk you more. Trust me, I will stalk you bigger than you've ever been stalked before.
Yeah, I'm also going to give out the real content, so I promise that, Kabisa.
Please do. Oh, there you are. I look forward to seeing this, and I really hope that one of these fine days you will actually come down to Mombasa. It's not Nairobi. Nairobi is our capital. Come down to Mombasa and come and perform here. I'm sure someone can host you. I mean, we are Africans. We do host our brothers.
I would love to do an event there. Actually, I've been talking to Rick's poet, and he was like, "Yeah, why don't you plan a visit to Nairobi? Then we they get to know about your work, and you also know and discover other new people." Like, "Yeah, I love that," and I'm like, when am I coming?" But then that's
Yes. When are you coming? When are you coming?
Yeah. Well, I need to start doing on some collaborative works with different artists there, so that when I come, those are the people that are going to introduce me to their mates, and
Yes.
like I had a discussion with Stella and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
She's called Stella.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we've been trying to think about what we can do because she's a vocalist and
Yeah.
I enjoy her singing, her way, the way she connects. So I was like, okay, we can mix singing and and poetry and maybe also like put in like theater performances. It can be a complete piece of art.
Yes. Yes.
It has poetry, it has singing, it has performance.
Mm.
What do you want on menu? That's a balanced diet.
That's a balanced diet. Perfect. It's a balanced diet of artists. I do look forward
Yeah.
to seeing that. I'm usually very unkind though when it comes to when you promise to do something. I'm quite unkind on that one. So I would want to know the date. I'm waiting for the timeline. Please tell me when this is so that I can start organizing. I probably need to buy an African attire. So come on, Samie, give it to me. When?
Yeah. Well.
When?
No,
Pregnancy is 9 months,
this is
so now you need to know how pregnant are you with this thing?
like I'm going to first sort of things and make some communication to different artists on field that are there, so that when I come, then you're going to be having a full package. I'm going to talk to my poets in Nairobi, and yeah, maybe we'll be coming to Master.
Maybe, really, maybe. Am I hearing a maybe? Samie, listen, this is my biggest problem. If you give me a maybe, another year down the line, Corona won't be there. And we won't have a free time like this.
No,
So
like
please give me a
I
date. I'm looking forward to it. Tell me in
no,
1 year's time and I'll mark on my calendar. Today is here and then I'll follow it up. Please tell me about
yeah.
it.
I
I'm,
mean,
I'm
like
curious. I want to know.
I would I would love to make it like maybe next year. I said maybe again, but I would love next year to do it. I would love to do it because yeah, I hope Corona won't be still in our in
Don't
our
worry,
country.
we won't die. I mean, we're gonna be around. Corona won't worry us anymore. I mean, as you can see, we are back to work. It's only that it's not as fast as it was, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Yes.
telling me 2021, 17th of August, I would expect a call from Samie telling me, like, you know what, I'm coming down to Kenya. And I'm like, yes, you come here.
It's like,
You
yo,
do need to come.
pack your stuffs and get ready.
Exactly. Think about it. The only reason as to
Yeah.
why I'm doing this is so that I can connect you to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. And when someone listens to this section of the conversation, they'll go like, I need to know this guy more. But for them to know you, they've got to see your content. Now you promise
Yeah.
1 year from now, let me tell you, they'll be looking for you throughout. From now, they'll try to follow you. They'll be stalking you big time. And that's what builds your platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
my intention now is to build a platform for people like you, for people like me who have something to say, but then again, people are facing the other direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So come on, Samie. I'm the 17th of August 2021. I expect a call. Do I expect a call?
You should
Come on.
expect it.
I'm waiting. I
You
should.
should expect it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and a
Okay.
good time is in summertime. Summertime is a good time, and
Definitely.
imagine having like maybe spending the day at the coast, then in the evening you hit the theater, and it's
And we have our theater here, by the way. We actually do have a theater in the coast region. And
oh
yes, we do have a theater here. It's called the Little Theater Club. And it's just that the COVID days caused it to close, but it's getting up again. And so you can imagine
yeah.
you just need to arrange for the performance and get your work on so that just before you come in, your work is online and it's showing on YouTube. And I can assure you, there'll be a lot of people expecting you, especially because you're an award-winning poet. Surely you're not going to let that go. You're not going to disappoint Africa. You owe us as an African. You owe Africa.
I owe Africa a lot, and I'm going to
Exactly.
work. Let me say I'm going to work like on an album, and then I think when the
Yes.
album is done, it has to have a tour, country tour and regional tour, maybe world tour. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, we need you to go around Africa first before you can go to the rest of the world. because
I
you
would love
want
that
to.
also.
Yeah.
I would love that also because I mean like I love I love Africa, and like the South South when they say that live and die in Africa, they kind of they kind of prophesied something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always talk about that thing, and then the people are like, yeah, remember they showed the video in US. Like, yeah, that's why they did that. They wanted to portray that, however much they have the ability to go there and shoot their
Yes.
video there, but then
Mhm.
at the end of the day, where do they go and sleep? Back in Africa, in
Africa.
Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if they're in Nairobi.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
Nairobi actually. Yeah.
we need to be proud of our country, our continent, and we got that.
Perfect. Yes, I do look forward to that, and I will call you as often as I see. When I see content, I'll definitely look up, and I want to link up and know what else is possible. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for being my fourth guest in Moola from True Love. I really do look forward to seeing your poems make money and turn Africa around. You're the guy. Coming from Samie. Yeah. Yay! Oh yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
this. It's
Us,
this.
yeah, in arts
Perfect.
we use this.
It's this. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye,
and
Samie. Enjoy
bye bye,
your day.
asante sana.
Okay. Oh yeah. Asante sana. Perfect.
Sawa sawa.